uh, educational documents on that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I went through that, but I'm just a little bit confused. If you can quickly, I know you might have already told this one, but if you can go quickly 5 minutes.
So kind of go over the settings or how to use
Yeah.
it.
How to use, yeah, settings and how to use it, like if you can. I don't know if
Okay.
anyone else is.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. Basically what I'm doing, I haven't really changed much of the settings.
Before you do,
Um,
are you recording this one by any?
yes, it's being recorded.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, so basically I don't really the only thing I change is when I'm using the ribbon. Let's see. I basically turn this on so that you can see
Okay.
the compression. So
Okay.
these white candles basically, if you turn it off, it'll, or is it? If you turn it off, it'll take them away. But I like to see them because it's a visual reminder that we're consolidating.
Okay.
And then you can do either classic, which is purple, or clean, which is kind of white and gray.
Okay. That is something I didn't. Okay, I didn't have clean in class. Okay, I see your point. Okay.
And then also in order for the colors to show, instead of showing like your regular candle colors, you kind of have to go to the regular settings and under symbol, uncheck whatever your natural colors are, because if not, it won't show them. See, if I click them,
Yeah, I see.
it'll show like whatever. And this way because the reason why Sadie likes to use these colors is he mentions in his video that for example here, we're above the ribbon and the candle's green basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then instead of this turning red, it's just blue, so that psychologically you don't think like it
Absolutely.
doesn't stop you out basically.
Yeah,
Not until it actually goes below the ribbon.
I see. I see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And this one is on the day chart. Okay. So that's why you have the swing range. Okay. But
Yeah, so basically what I do is I have this set up when I'm trading, and I have the 3 minute, the 10 minute, and the hourly. And because I like to look at different
okay.
ranges,
Okay.
on the 3 minute, I have the day range, multi range, and then swing range. So daily, weekly, and monthly. What I'll do also is here and there, I'll toggle and I'll look at the position, which is more of the quarterly. And I mean, right now we're way above it, where it's gone basically. But before, when we were, I think it was last quarter, we were kind of trading inside that position
Yeah.
box
Yeah.
because we
The
would,
box.
and
Yeah.
so I actually made note of marking the call and put trigger, because that was kind of like an area where
Yeah.
uh, we were kind of in it. And it was interesting to see that once we open the golden gate here, once we hit this ATR level, we
Mm-hmm.
ended up closing it here. And then we almost went to -1 ATR that quarter. And then a new one opened, of course. And that's when we started pushing up. So
So
it's,
the position setting is for the quarter, but you are still on
yes.
hourly chart.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It really,
Got it.
like I said, I really just mark it because I know those areas can give us retracements, or kind of move.
Okay. Okay. That's where I'm just okay. Like, I see it. Okay. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to see in my charts too. That's why. Okay. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically what I like to look at it, because for example, this week, um, yesterday we kind of found that support, or on Friday we found that support on the weekly pivot, which is like the previous week close.
Yeah.
Um, and like I said, we also found support for the downside right at the put trigger.
Yeah.
So if I'm in a trade, I keep an eye on those, because that way I can either take all of my profit or take most of it.
Okay, got it. I have another question though. I forgot what day, but you kind of tried to enter a call position. I think it's on Friday or Thursday. I don't remember, but it is on that day. It is almost reaching the ADR on that day. Somehow I have the ADR settings, ADR upper settings, and you elected that position, but do you watch ADR position? Like, if it is reaching ADR, because usually what I noticed, correct me if I'm wrong, when it reaches the ADR, it slows down there, right? And the if it is slows down, it is gonna theta is gonna eat out the premium. Do you watch ADR at all when you're entering the speaks position, or
Yes. So basically, by ADR, do you mean like if we're at like right
not
now?
not the ATR, ADR? We have the ADR one and ADR two, lower ADR upper and
Okay, yeah. So basically, like,
I don't know
where is
what
it?
what
Oh,
is.
right here, kind of like this.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So how we have the lower ADR and the upper ADR.
Yeah, I use this indicator called ATR versus DTR. I think
Yes, yes.
I think it is.
So
I picked it up from one of your old videos. I guess I don't remember exactly where, but yeah.
yeah, so this is I do pay attention to it. And that was I think on Friday. That was kind of like one of the reasons I kind of tried to look for a call
Okay.
because I thought that maybe we could push into the gap, but I mean, it ended up getting invalidated pretty quickly, and
Yeah.
that made me realize we were gonna likely chop. But yeah, I do pay attention to it because I actually do have an alert. It alerts me if it touches the bottom or the top.
Okay.
Because yeah, sometimes it does mean is exhausted. And I want to say, let me see if I can do the
I mean,
read.
a lot of times I notice it slows down a lot there. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
it may go up, but it slows down there at least. And
Let me see.
Yeah, I use it as like a point of interest.
yeah,
Yeah. So for example, on Thursday, um, that was, you could have caught the whole move at lower ADR, which is kind of
exactly right.
funny.
Yeah, yeah,
And then but here it did slow down a little on that upper ADR.
yeah.
It just kept going. But yeah, I definitely use it as a point of kind of interest.
Okay.
I do have another view um that I use for ES. Hold on, someone's joining the call, I think. Um, I do have a view that I use for ES, and this one, Ray, he's the same one that created the other ADR, but he created this one that shows the AWR and the AMR. So the AMR is for the
Yeah.
monthly and AWR for the weekly. And I noticed how when we were trading on Thursday, we tapped that AWR and
Oh,
kind of came back down.
okay.
And I like using this one as well. I know this is a paid um indicator, and I don't even know if he still sells it because he really kind of went offline, and I don't really find his Twitter
Oh, okay.
anymore. But I think I did have Claude recreated.
Okay.
So I wonder if I might just share it on the education tab.
Please, you can.
Um,
Wait. Yeah.
I'll message him first and ask him because if he's still selling his, then I'll just share his link because I don't want to,
Yeah.
you know, um, copy his stuff. But yeah, I did notice that too, that we kind of tapped into that, and even we're above the AMR, and I'm wondering, and we've already moved 176% of the monthly range. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm like, and we still have about, I don't know, like about 10
Days.
or so trading days to go in a month.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if that's why too we might pull back a little.
Ah,
If
good point, yeah.
if it's already exhausted, unless this really wants to keep going.
Yep.
So that I'll keep an eye on that, and I look for it for NQ, both for NQ and ES, to see where we're at. Because yeah, ES or NQ is also above its AMR.
Okay.
So I'm kind of curious to see what happens this week. I'm I'm being cautious just because overall this market, I did not expect for our weekly candles to look like this.
Yeah.
So it's more I don't want to be overly bearish as well, because I'm like, what if this still decides to keep pushing up? We do have
Broad information.
broad
Yeah.
information that I actually drew a long time ago. And this is from 2018 to 2022. And I'm like, what if this kind of wants to keep going up and tap here? Who knows?
7,800. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to be too bearish or too bullish. Just keeping like making sure everything matches in order for me to pick a side.
Yeah. But at least the weekly candle looks like it wants a pullback, you know.
I mean, really, I would love one. Let me
Yeah.
because even here, for example, on SPX, the weekly candle is like so above the ribbon.
Oh, okay. So, yeah.
We
Yeah.
did expand. Let me close the. We expanded after being in compression for such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to see, does it want to push back down and then continue the expansion? Because it really is. It needs, for me, any pullback is welcomed.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because it'll make, it kind of makes you realize like, you know, we kind of need it. And overall, as you can see, the market kind of just rides the ribbon, and we get our little pullbacks. And kind of here, like for example, in 2022, when we kind of had more of a bearish market that year, it kind of pushed down. But overall, I mean, Sadie always says too, he's like, everyone on Twitter will say like, you know, it's the bear crash and the market's crashing. But he's like, if you look at the ribbon, we're still, unless you really,
Yeah.
it's still green. And even the monthly, even when we had last year 2025, we just dipped into the ribbon, and then here also we just kind of dipped into it. I was hoping we dip into the 21, but we just kind of just got close to it and then pushed back up.
Yeah.
Another thing I do, because I don't want to look at all the time frames at once. I set an alert to see if it taps the daily, any of these EMAs. And what you can do is add an alert.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say crossing, and in here you could do price. And so the fast EMA, the pivot EMA is the 21. The fast EMA is the 8. Slow EMA is the 48 all the way to the bottom. And then the fast conviction EMA is the 13.
Yep.
So you can set an alert for all of these.
Mm-hmm.
And so every time it taps it, like for example, here I could say the fast conviction EMA, notifying app, and you could name it and say,
oh, it's in the daily range. Okay. Yeah.
SPX daily 13 EMA.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, because these areas are areas of, you know, usually we can get a support, it'll let me know. And then in case I'm watching the other timeframes, like the hourly and all of that, then at least I get that alert. And that helps me a lot instead of having to kind of keep watching it throughout the day.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because for the most part, I'm at work. And so
Yeah.
I can be, unfortunately, I only have I can only use one screen for charts there. So
yeah.
But yeah, I'm
Which one was
curious.
the 21?
The 21 is where is it? The 21 is the pivot EMA.
Got it. Thank you.
And as you scroll through it, it'll highlight it. To see when I click the pivot, it shows some blue dots, and if I do the other one, so it'll show it there.
The slow EMA is 48. Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, it's the one all the way at the bottom, and then the other one is the
200.
200. But
Yeah.
I don't think we've tapped the 200 in a long time since, or actually no, we did when we flipped it from. Yeah, it's the hourly. Sorry, I meant the daily. Yeah, so it's also when we have these big bearish movements to the downside,
Yep.
that 200 EMA is going to be key because we don't tend to drift too far away from the ribbon on the bigger time frames. And then if we do get a kind of like what we did last year after we flipped after the tariff, you can see that you could have bought all these flags into ribbon every time we tapped the 21 EMA. You could have swung some calls,
Yep.
maybe like some SPY calls, and then swing till it doesn't work. Because then eventually that's when we started to compress, and here, I mean, it's just been, if we tap lower, I might just swing some calls and see what happens.
So when you said flag into the ribbon, you watch for the touching the 21 EMA, 21 EMA and taking that as support.
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, so for example, on the hourly, you can see here how, it came back down. Basically anything, as long as it doesn't cross below that 21 EMA.
Close below. Okay.
Yeah. So even here, for example, this was like a one that kind of crossed and then went back up.
Yep.
And I do also make sure to look at the other time frames, of course, like how's the 10-minute looking. That's why yesterday or Friday was kind of choppy. Yep. Because sometimes the hourly was looking, it's still green, but of course that's the one that we couldn't close above that 21 EMA on the hourly, and actually this would have been a good entry for puts. But like I said, Fridays I take it super slow just because it's the end of the week and I don't want to give back profits.
Of course, yeah.
And then I actually had an indicator created, and that's actually the one that sends the potential setups alerts on that channel. But it basically kind of flags it sometimes. It'll show me the setups here. Not all the time, but I've been kind of playing around with it to see if, where is it on the hourly? Did I turn it off? Oh wait, I don't have it on this one. Is it here? Yeah, see, it kind of shows those flags into ribbon. So kind of gets
yeah, that's really nice actually.
Yeah. And then that's when it sends the alert to the Discord. And like I said, I don't like go and jump on a call or something because it does this alert here. It'll say like potential setups. And I like it because then it gives me that kind of reminder, and then I go and look and see. I'm like, okay, this is really good, like a good setup, or it kind of tells you to wait. Like it'll say like IBOMI confirm, and then you can say it says setup invalid. But sometimes it, like I said, if it gets 3 kind of setups that are all like bullish, then it'll have me kind of looking and seeing like, oh, is this a potential setup, or should I kind of wait? Because this one for Friday, it said, kind of bullish, monitor it, divergence from extreme, and this is all on the 10-minute. And if you go down to the 3-minute, it was actually it could have been a good call.
Yep.
here, you could have gotten a good. And then I think here on the 10-minute, where was it? Where's my other indicator? I think I removed it. But it was showing like there was some divergence, and so yeah, that's kind of like how I try to use this, because it'll kind of send me an alert on Discord, and I'll watch it and see like, oh hey, maybe something's setting up. But yeah. And yeah, with ES, I always notice that every time that we have a big move overnight, we tend to chop during the day. And that's basically what happened. So I always, that's another reason why I'll be cautious if we have a big move overnight. Whereas if we have like here on Thursday, it was nice because we were kind of in compression all night, and then we finally popped. Any other questions?
No, that's all from me because I'm using that ADR as a support in a lot of not only SPX but others,
Yeah,
other trades
trust
too.
me, I like using it too. It's really helpful because another time also, if we tend to like for example here on what it was this Thursday, let's say you were trading futures, we opened and then it went, this green line is the lower ADR.
Yep.
And we went below it, and then we tapped back into it,
Yes.
and then
Yep.
it came back down, so it became resistance
Yep.
on. So here it could have been a good put entry if you were trading, if you were awake at 3 a.m. trading futures. You could have looked how we failed to cross above the 10-minute 21 EMA, and then we failed to close above the lower ADR, and then that was like a good
Yep.
a good one, and you could have targeted this because this was the -1 ATR, and that would have been like a perfect exit.
Yep. 74 that nano. Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
What ORB box are you using?
The 10-minute. I used the 10-minute, and it's that indicator that I posted on that shows the market internals. It also has an ORB box, and I like using the 10-minute. I've noticed on SPX, like for example, I think it was on Wednesday, both Wednesday and Thursday, it made me patient to wait because here we kind of hammered above the ORB, and then after we left the call trigger, it kind of kept going. So that's even though some could have gotten an early entry here at that 10-minute 21, I like waiting a little. And the same here on Tuesday, we kind of went back into the orb and then came back down. So you can always wait, and let's see how it looked on the 3-minute. It gave you like a more clear entry because you could have wait to see if it climbed above it, or here this was like a perfect entry at this rejection of the 21 EMA, and you could have ridden it. It almost tapped the -1 ATR. But it filled the gap right here from that Thursday. So that could have been that was a good exit. And then after the reversal, you could have traded calls here. So I always wait for us to leave the ribbon, because even though here it was kind of showing an early entry, it it was, for me, it was better to wait. It gives you that, I think that was the day that, yeah, the long went really well. And then you could have even waited for this. Once you see this conviction arrow, it means that it might pull back into the ribbon. And that's kind of like what it did here. And you could have waited for like a break of this area here and then enter again, and just be cautious once it gets to the 200 EMA. If it breaks through, it usually has strength to it like it did on this day. But if it doesn't, like on Friday, we tend to pull back. And that's what happened Friday. We went into the 200 EMA and then pushed back down and then flipped the ribbon back bearish. And you could have waited here for an entry, because you can here it was a nice entry because we were rejecting the top of the orb and the EMA 21, and we already had a conviction. We were basically flagging into this ribbon over here because we had our conviction arrow here, and this gave you the confirmation that it wasn't going to flip back up, and you could have entered for like a quick scalp.
Okay.
But yeah, this week should be interesting because we have Nvidia earnings, and I'm interesting to see, because always if we really are going to get a really bad pullback, we tend to first kind of consolidate before we really have that move, and that's kind of like what we did here before we had that drop in March. We consolidated for months, and that's where people were really frustrated. I remember just seeing people on X saying like, when are we getting out of this? And once you realize you're in a range, you can always scalp. Like, you can buy calls here, buy puts here, until it stops working, and then wait for it to drop below it, wait for a retest, and then you can kind of play the downside. The only thing with when we start getting more bearish movement is that usually you'll get those big green pullbacks, kind of like how we did here. We got a big green pullback before that drop. And so you have to be more nimble, because out of the blue, you'll get a green candle, and it doesn't necessarily mean like, it's the end. But also you have to be careful. And then of course, when April came, we broke all like the market structure, shifted back again to the upside. And that's when that was telling me, all right, everything's pushing up. So let me more look for calls than puts. And if you're in puts, just be careful. And so that's what I'll see on, because this is kind of like our first nice chunky red candle we get in a long time. But will it be like here where kind of we were in a range and all those red candles made you think we were about to drop, but we actually started pushing back up? Or will it really kind of be real and we'll come back and grab some of that liquidity we have down here? And that's where I like using the pivot ribbon, because then that guides me. If everything's stacked red, like if you have all of your time frames that I look at that are red, then that tells me, hey, better look for puts instead of calls. Or if I do get calls, do it quick. So this, I'm curious on Monday, if we start to lose the ribbon here, like will we be getting better put, more drawdown? That's kind of like what I'm curious. any other questions? And I feel like it takes a lot of just once you get used to it, you start seeing the same setups over and over again.
Yep.
It kind of starts to, you get more confident. You're like, all right, let me take a stab at this because I've seen this happen before. Um, and that helps a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've also been using Claude to kind of pre-market. I like to ask it like, what does it think? And I basically built a skills where I basically put everything that Sadie has, and even that I think I shared it a few weeks ago that somebody had put everything, all his notes and all of Sadie's notes into one um, GitHub repo. And I gave it that and said, hey, can you create a skills so that you kind of analyze the market? And so what I do, I'll share my screen. Where's my Claude here? So basically what I'll do is I'll give it the ES chart and say, can you give me your analysis? So I'll type it and say, can you give me your analysis on ES? And I'll tell it to ignore tick, ADD, and trend since the market is not open. So it's basically looking at that trading note skills, and it starts giving, and of course we haven't started the new week, so it's showing like things are exhausted.
Yeah.
But I like to have that second pair of eyes because sometimes I'll fall into the, oh, this, this setup, it's going up or down, it's going to leave me. But this kind of gives me like a good kind of like, hey, if this happens, then you get into calls. But yeah, and then it gives me like an if and if then. So if we're bearish, wait for this to fail or wait for this to hold. So I kind of I like that it tells me like, hey, don't be early.
Yep.
Wait for the OR, see how it holds, blah blah blah. And I give it SPX as well. But in the morning, I like following ES better because it has more overnight data. The ribbon, has the overnight trend, so it kind of helps me if I want to take an early trade instead of just trading, just looking at SPX. While I'll let SPX kind of establish.
Carlissa asked you a question in the chat.
Oh yeah, she said, have you noticed that SPX usually gives a good trend trade in the morning? Yeah, I've noticed that too. Let me go back to my chart. I noticed that lately, and that's where because usually I like to wait for that 30 minutes to settle on SPX before I trade, because usually it could be like a fake out. But I have noticed that you can get a good, like on Friday, for example, you kind of got like I think one of the guys, he caught this move here. And so I've been kind of noticing that in the mornings we tend to, like, here you can get a quick, quick puts here and get a quick win. But it's just like what the market's conditioning right now. We tend to get those moves overnight, and or even like during the day, just quickly and then chop. So I'm curious to see now if VIX, if we start to get more volatility, if we get them more throughout the day than just once. But this is where, if let's say you are thinking you want to enter something quick as the market opens, you can use ES to see if you have a setup like right before market opens, like market opens here at 9:30. So if you think like, hey, we're gonna reject this ATR level, or let me get a put real quick before I get a call. But I like to wait, just because there's so much going on. But if there is a clear trade, definitely I would say you could always take it and see how that goes. Because usually sometimes we'll just chop a little before it gives you, because here, for example, you can think we're going to have a bearish day because we're starting to kind of trying to flip the ribbon and just for it to go up. So I'd rather wait and let those few trades happen, um, and then see what happens. But there's people that will scalp it and just um, you know that's it, or look for the reversal. But I think one of the things about trading SPX as well is don't get complacent with one move, or one trend. Like let's say right now we're getting the better moves overnight and nothing during the day or something. Um, Usually that'll change eventually. So something that can fit right now might not fit later. Like right now, everyone's getting used to just the market trending up, up, up. But what if now we either enter a state of chop or push back down? Those people that got used to only buying the dip basically might start getting stopped out. Or similar to before, where for example, that one guy that became kind of viral on X, the J-Lock.
Yeah, I saw that.
So he was swinging puts, and it was working great for him till it didn't, because he was kind of, when we were going down here, like he was just kind of swinging every time. I don't even know what his strategy was, but it worked out great for him, like when we were trending down. But the moment we started trending back up, that's when he got a, he didn't have the risk management, so it obliterated his account. But that's where you, like I said, it'll work great and then it won't. And kind of now it's been working great to either swing a call or just buy the dips. But if we start pushing into the ribbon, or even on the hourly, if we start flipping the ribbon red, then you just have to be careful.
Rose, if you don't mind, can I ask one question?
Yeah, sure.
So I saw, I mean, I have this ADI tick extreme zones indicator, but
Yeah,
yours looks different. I mean, is it a different indicator or
it's the same. This is the
zone
second
two?
version.
Okay.
He doesn't have it on. It's the one that I posted on the Discord, I think. But I did remove the vol D, just because it really, like, it gives too much noise. I did remove the,
But
because if
I don't know if this indicator is still available, or is it a paid version or anything?
no, this is free, but he might have it private. Let me double check. Um, yeah, let me double check with him.
Okay.
But yeah, I like to keep it looking, because if we start,
Yes.
if we get those, tick is negative and ADD is just trending down, then I don't want to look for calls. But then I also look at my where do I have it? At my chart, at
Yeah.
the layout too in the charts, just because that gives me more of
Yeah.
a trend of how it's looking. Because for example, on Friday, like even though we were negative And usually, especially if you're like negative 1500, like that negative, usually that means like a trend day for the downside. But because I think it went for it like initially, I noticed that the trend was more choppy. So I was like, this is not trending further down. It's just kind of down, up, down, up. So I'm like, this looks more like a choppy day compared to here on Tuesday. We had the big move down, and then we started trending up. And so once it got to that like negative 1500 area, and then we started leaving that negative 1200, and it started to kind of leave the negative 1000. I'm like, all right, I think the market's about to push up instead of down, because it's starting to trend up. And that's kind of like what you could see here, how it went down quickly in the morning, and then we got to a level here around here that it started to flip and get positive, or leave that negative 1000 area. And then that could have been a good entry for calls. And here too, you could see that around 12 o'clock, we were trending down, but ADD was trending up. So you had that divergence there telling you like internally, buyers are stepping in.
Yep. Yeah, that GitHub Satiland notes is really helpful, actually. All the
Yes,
yeah.
yes, it's super helpful. Somebody, I forgot who, he created that and shared it, and that's what I use to feed my Claude so that it could give me the analysis.
Yeah. No, that's all. That's all I have. Thank you so much for your time. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
okay.
Does anyone else have questions? If not, I'll leave the recording, or I'll paste it once it's ready. I might start even putting it on maybe YouTube so that it's easier to view. Because right now I'm just pasting the Google link, but I can do the YouTube link so it's easier. But yeah, any other questions? If not, I'll let y'all get back to your Sunday.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Have a good weekend. Rest of your weekend.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Bye.